Welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Laurie, and I'll be taking you through a little shoulder routine that I came up with in my restorative yoga classes. The shoulder joint, of course, is so instrumental for our range of mobility, picking up parcels, putting things on the shelf, reaching out, etc. So in today's class, one of my students asked if I could sequence this event, so here I am doing it. We've got a big snowstorm outside. Firstly, the equipment you'll need a bolster, which I've made up of 3 pillows, and a pillow, which I've made up from 2 towels. There's a space of about 8 to 10 inches between the pillows and the towels. So straddling myself sideways here, next to the pillows, one thigh is adjacent, the other knee is bent. It can be stacked or staggered. I like to stagger. And then draping over the pillows or the bolster creates a lateral flexion in my spine, my rib cage. The arm that's underneath, the shoulder that's underneath, is literally brushing up against the carpet, so there's no pressure. I'm not impinging on that shoulder at all. Head is supported by the blankets. Initial arm position, I like to just rest my hand along the ridge of the body, ensure that the legs feel comfortable. And just start to settle in. This is a great opportunity to come back to your breathing. And the whole routine can be done in about 10 minutes, about 5 minutes each side. Now this top hand, another position for the top hand is to bring the back of the hand and rest it against the small of the back, and then slightly bring that top shoulder back. This is going to create a little stretch sensation in the anterior deltoid at the front of the shoulder, and also it gives the pectoralis major, the chest muscle, a nice stretch on that side. Let the arm behind the back go limp. Bring your attention back to the breath. Now the shoulder that's being worked on, the rest of the body should feel at ease, relaxed, comfortable. Come back to the breath. Now, of course, as I go through the different movements, if you'd like to spend more time at any one particular point, you can. If you'd like to move a little more quickly, then you could just fast forward the video. So that stretch with the anterior deltoid, the one that I'm in now, you could be here anything from 1 to 5 minutes. As I'm going to show you a third position, I'll come into that now. The third position that that arm can come into is to float it over the head, letting it dangle over the head. Hand dangles onto the floor or the pillow. The advantage of this particular movement, it's a different position for the shoulder, and it also opens up the rib cage. So there's a nice stretch here from the pelvis up through that top abdominal side, through the lats. and into the intercostal muscles between the ribs, those muscles under the armpit, that's serratus anterior. So everything's getting a really nice stretch, even to a degree, my tricep. Now, what have they got to do with the shoulder joint? Well, they have a lot to do with the shoulder joint. Because when we compact any part of the body, whether it be around the abdominals, the intercostals, the serratus anterior, all of these muscles will have a compounding effect right back into the shoulder joint. So opening up these parts of the body will give space for that shoulder joint. So we've been in static stretches for the shoulder joint for the last few minutes. And we can come into a more active stretching with the shoulder to finish off. So start with inhale, float that hand back along the ridge of the body. And I find it important to be very conscious of bringing that shoulder joint away from the ears. So start to open the hand and push the fingers away from the head. So this takes that shoulder joint down away from the neck. Now keeping that hand parallel to its current position, shoulder width high from the ground, start to rotate it forwards until it's parallel to the extended resting arm. Now from here, you'll find that that top shoulder blade can come away from the spine even further, and as it does, that arm reaches further and further, giving a delicious stretch into that top shoulder blade. Palm is face downwards. Keeping that arm fully extended, rotate it now at that same height above the ground, parallel until it's above the head. Now here we have another dynamic stretching, reaching above the head, hand parallel. Again, opening up a big stretch in the abdominals here. And you can create a little dynamic movement in the wrist and hand here. Rotate the palm towards the ceiling. Feel that movement in the shoulder blade. Rotate back, palm facing the floor, or even rotate further than that so that the hand is almost rotated behind in a direction facing behind the head. So rotate several times, feeling the movement in the shoulder joint. Feeling the shoulder blade, rotated cuff. Now for the next part of the sequence, you want that hand to rotate towards the ceiling, thumb points towards the front of the body, and you'll notice I start to roll towards my back, and as I do, I rotate now so that that rotating arm is 180 degrees to the resting arm, palm face up. So the shoulder joint getting another delicious opening here. Feeling a big stretch across the pectoral muscle, anterior deltoids, feeling this. Again, you can just play with the rotations of the hand, letting the shoulder joint feel an active rotational movement in this static held stretch. And this time rotate the palm towards the floor and then complete the circle back to the hip, coming back. Now that could be done several times. You can do it forwards. You can also do it backwards, getting a full rotation. I'll do it backwards in one continuous movement just to get a feel for it. Palm faces up, 180 degrees to resting arm. Comes back, keep the palm up until it's over the head. Flip the hand, palm down. Comes out in forward, back around. So again, you could be doing that on several turns, forwards, backwards. Feeling a nice range of motion in that shoulder. Now I'm going to do the same sequence from the other side. So I push up. And I'm going to turn my back on you. Come over to the other side. Resting arm down. Hand position 1 along the ridge of the body. Legs can be staggered or stacked. The upper arm can rest the back of the hand against the small of the back. Top shoulder comes back. I'll go through this side a little more quickly. But once again, you have the option, once you understand the sequencing, of staying as long as you like in each direction. Third position, arm drapes over the head. I still have a tendency to roll towards the back of the body here. Now originally all of this shoulder work was an extra that I found that I added to a restorative pose for the lateral flexion of the spine. The reason I'm delaying is I'm enjoying it so much. Bring that hand back along the ridge of the body. Spread the fingers. Extend the fingers away from the head. Shoulder away from the neck. Bring the hand forwards, parallel to the ground. Shoulder width away from the ground. Palm facing down. In that extension, start to extend more. Let that shoulder blade come further from the spine. Extend, extend, extend. You can play with the hand and the wrist here. You can rotate. Shoulder's an amazing joint. There's just so many positions it's responsible for. It's such a brilliant ball and socket joint. And then rotating the hand, completing over the head, big extension, palm face down. Rotating again as you'd like. Big extension, big extension. Now, even though I'm lifting the shoulder joint here and reaching, try to keep the shoulder blade down towards the back so you are using the extension through the shoulder point and not relying on the trapezius muscles to lift you up. You're really using that shoulder blade coming down in that extension. Palm face the ceiling, this time rotating behind you 180 degrees, palm face up. Extend, extend, extend. Option to rotate. Bringing it back to the edge of the body, palm face down. Now once again, you could dynamically move it in the opposite direction. Palm face up, 180, comes around over the head, palm face down, extend, palm comes in front, palm down, and then back. You You could do it as one continuous sweeping motion, a couple of times in each direction. Always working to have that shoulder away from the ear. And then once again, you can finish the pose simply by staying in the lateral flexion of the spine. Or if you like, gently press up. And notice how the shoulder joint feels. So very important to take care of the shoulder joint. I hope this video was helpful for you and that you can use this whenever you've got a spare 5 to 10 minutes. Come down, simple props, and enjoy. Happy Sunday.